Hi class, I wanted to walk you through how to open up a Wix site so that you can avoid using Wix Harmony or any of the other obstacles that will slow you down. So first, you would select the Get Started. I'm going to go ahead and log in. You're not going to have all of these when you start. These are just some of the sandbox sites that I've had for students, but you will have the Create New Site. So let's go to that. Avoid try Wix Studio. Wix Studio is not a free account. It will end before the class does. And anytime it says try, you know it's a trial. So we do want to stay with the Create on the Wix editor. If this wording changes at any time, you'll just want to use common sense and make sure you're choosing the free one. We want to avoid any kind of chat because that's only going to slow you down. It's going to make content that isn't going to help you. The hallucinations actually will cause a student to make a lower grade. So let's set up without chat. We don't need any of these added things. They would just have to be removed after you submit your draft. I would have to take off points because they're extras that you don't want on your website. So let's come over here and just skip to the dashboard. All right, when we get here, we don't want to confuse this with the page to change your site name. This is actually asking for you to create a domain, and that's paid, and we don't want to do that. We do want to come up here to Design Site, and we're going to pick a template. We're not going to work with a full template, but this is how we're going to get to where we need to be. We don't want to generate a design. That's AI, and again, for all the reasons we discussed, you do not want that. We're going to go through here. You're going to choose a blank template. And when we do that, you're still going to find there's some Wix Harmony, and this is AI still. They have that. It's fairly new for the past year. We don't want that. We want the minimal. You can also use Start from Scratch. All right, so we want to avoid AI, again, anything that says generate site text or ARIA, we want to avoid. So we're going to X out of that. When we first land here, you're going to have some labels, and we really are going to need just a couple of these, all right, for the full month if we use this blank template. If you can select anywhere, that will get you just to your site. This is what you'll land with. Okay, but what we want to do is come over here and look at our pages and menu. That will show us just what we have. Now, we don't need a gallery for this particular food truck, okay? So let's delete that page. We will use each of these, but we also need a location page, and we're going to need a menu page. So we can come up here and just select a blank page if we want up here, and it will have basically nothing, or we can choose something very simple that will have, let's see, room for a location. We don't want a lot of scrolling. We don't want to have to remove a lot of content. So for this situation, I'm just going to create a blank page. And here we are with this. I'm going to name it Locations. All right. And so what do we need on this page? Well, we know we're going to use some text. So we come up here to add elements, the same as if I were to select this. And we're going to add some text. And I think this will be easy enough to read. It's even bigger than we need. We can edit it and go down to 20. This is a paragraph 1. We could go to paragraph 2, which is 16. We could make our paragraph 2 just naturally larger. So if we have an 18 and save it to the theme, then we will always, when we select paragraph 2, have 18 points. So for this, you can enter your location information, right? Whatever the information you have from the client. And you can put a heading there, stay with your theme text, and use this. So this is a heading 2, we can call locations, okay? And you can grab this handle to lower this, right? Now, before we do that, I do want to show you, you can update this with a quick edit, and it's over here. You can make that 2026, 2027, whatever the year is, and you're going to put Real Deal Taco there. You're also going to pick up the disclaimer that is with the assignment, that brief few lines that talks about it not being a real site. And you're going to put that in there too, and you can see that we have the content we need there. You've got your social icons here. We're going to link those up to those accounts the client provided too. If we double click it, you'll see that you can go in here and either remove something, or you can also select it and put the URL right here, and it will link. All right. So what you do want to do over here is select this, the layout, and you're going to look at your settings here. We want it horizontal usually. Not necessarily, but it fits nicely into our footer in a situation like that. Okay. The site name, this month we're working on Real Deal Taco. You'll want to upload the logo. So you can go here to image, and you're going to upload the logo. And hopefully you've already downloaded the client folder to your desktop, and you're just going to upload it from your computer, and you'll have the logo in your header, which is where that belongs. All right, that way it's going to be on every page. All right, you can go here to navigate between your pages that you're building. Right? You want to make sure we take out any personal phone numbers, placeholder text that's coming out. You can use the one that you already created over here, and you can unpin it so that you can move it around. It's enough to have it in the footer, but if you once you've linked it, you can just copy and paste it. We want to bring this content up. I want to make sure it's down here. A little bit of scrolling that we don't need now that we've removed some of the content. And there are other forms that you could add, contact forms. So what happens is this will not go up as long as there's content in front of it, right? It won't go past that, just so you know. You won't need to add images. That will only clutter things. Right? You can use a solid color. White will remove anything that is there, okay? And you can use any color that you think fits for the client. All right, we don't need this. You might look into it in week 3, but we don't need to have a client email list. It's okay if you keep it, but you don't need it. We do want to make sure that we have enough contrast with all of our text. Okay, this is a contact page. There it is. Okay, so that's really all you need for this, but you do need to log in and make sure you've got their links for their social. Now we have our contact page, our about page. We will just want to make sure that this is left aligned. So you can select that. Edit text, come down here to alignment and select left. We give you the content that you need, but you can take a couple of lines out, paragraph or two out to make sure it fits. And here we're just going to select it, change background, and you're going to upload that image. None of these, it'll be from your media, and that will be something that is more in line with the food truck. You are able to put anything stock, and as long as it relates. The other way to do that is to come over here. You'll find in Wix there are a number of ways to do the same thing. So you can come over here to image, and you can upload your image that way. Okay. But you do want to put something back here because you don't want to have this placeholder. The next thing we're going to look at, let's look at got your locations we worked on. We're going to add that content, or you're going to add it. The about, we looked at the contact page. So the home, you can put an image here if you like. This is a gallery actually, and if you would go to the layout, there are a couple of different styles, but it's not required. Okay. The big thing that we're missing is the menu page for the food truck. It doesn't have a brick and mortar restaurant, so we don't want images that have to do with interiors. We also want to avoid glassware in our images because they're not going to give us that at a food truck, as you have experienced. All right, so what we can do is come right down here, and if we select this and go to Find Apps, we can come all the way down here and get a new menu. Now, we don't want this one because this is online orders. We just want this. We don't want table reservations. Remember, it's not an interior, so we're going to add that. All right. So now that we have this, we can come back to our pages and menu and see, come up to Site menu. There it is. Okay, we can double click and rename it if we want. We do know that we need to have the contact last, so we're going to select it and drag it down. And now let's look at what we have here. All right, if we go to Manage Menus, you can call it whatever you need to. You can manage it, and you can edit whatever the item is, and then you're going to add the item description right there. You can put labels, but you don't have to. They have different ones, but you can click here and choose one if you want. It's fine. Not necessary, but it's there. Where your pricing goes, you can add your image here the same way you've been doing, right? Uploading media. Okay, so you can go through and do that. All right, and then save it. The other thing you can do is if you go to Settings, do not use AI. You'll be able to look at the layout. There are different options that you have under Layout. Okay, so that should get you in the ballpark for that. And again, you're going to have the logo up here. That will give you everything that you need. Okay, do make sure you spend enough time on the menu. That's probably what's going to take the most time. There are other things you can do after you finish the class, certainly not something that you have to do, all right, for this. In fact, you want to be sure that you keep things really simple so that you can make a strong grade with your submission, okay? And you want to be super consistent with your fonts, only using two, one for headers, one for body copy, and you want to make sure it's legible for sure, all right? I hope this answered any questions. Again, the logo goes right here, right? All right, everybody, contact me if you have any questions whatsoever, and have fun.